Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from AGayGuyPlays, and today on the Quickdraw we're going to do a whole lot of penetrating with the Boltor Prime. So, as of late, it's been a cavalcade of Prime, but at least in this instance, it's a Prime that I'm more than happy to play with. The Boltor has been on my badass list for ages, and for a time it fell out of grace once weapons like the Soma and the Synapse took center stage. But the fact is, this bolt-spitting, wall-pinning, armor-penetrating dragon gun has been revamped and covered in a thick coating of sexy Prime batter. So, as with the rest of the Primes, you can find its components scattered in the Void and Derelict missions. You can find the Boltor Prime's blueprints in T3 Mobile Defense, the stock in T1 Exterminate, the barrel in T3 Exterminate, and the receiver in the Overkill Derelict Defense missions. However, trading is a thing, and you can totally do that. Or, if you've got the money to burn, you can take the path of least resistance like I did and pick up the Prime Access bundle. Now, the Boltor Prime's main damage type is Puncture, with the tiniest splash of impact, meaning that this is perfectly suited for putting holes in Grineer armor, and it's also halfway decent at shooting down the infested. However, do be aware that the puncture damage is not so fun when it comes to corpus shielding. Now, for those of you who've never got your hands on the original Boltor, its main feature was the ability to fire projectiles that would either impale your targets to walls or ragdoll them into other enemies, dealing damage upon their collision. The main difference between the Boltor and its Prime version is the ridiculous amount of damage that each bolt does. The Boltor Prime deals more than twice the damage than its predecessor, and also features double the accuracy, making this version a bit more ammo efficient. Now, the sexiness doesn't stop there. Its fire rate has also been increased and its reload speed has had a slight reduction, making this version a lot more usable without having to mod for either aspect. Not needing to mod for either means freeing up more mod space for more damage, multiple elemental combos, or whatever your little heart desires. The only big downside with the Boltor Prime is the same issue that plagued the Boltor. While its projectiles have a decent flight speed that have little to no issue at hitting the mark up close, if you aren't good at leading your target, its impeccable accuracy goes to waste at longer ranges. But that can always be improved with practice, so it's only really an issue if projectile weapons aren't your cup of tea. Now, speaking of warm tasty mouthfuls, like tea, let's get to the gay factor. So the more time I spend reviewing weapons, the more I realize how biased I am towards anti-Grineer weapons. I mean, I spent 5 Forma just so I could pistol snipe down Grineer with my Aklex, and have not regretted it for a minute. See, I don't really mind the other factions. The Corpus have no emotional pull on me, and the Infested just gross me out too much to deal with them. But there's something that innately repulses me about the Grineer that behooves me to unleash the wrath of the gay. I'm thinking that it may have something to do with the fact that they've mastered the art of cloning, but are cloning all of the stupidest qualities. I mean, if you want soldiers, you can make soldiers that don't look like the fucking Quaker Oats guy. Seriously, have you never watched Starship Troopers? And the thing that gets me the most about all of this is the fact that the Grineer is run by a matriarchy. Ladies, your priorities are in the wrong friggin' place. If you cloned yourself a couple of copies of Ryan Reynolds, maybe you wouldn't find it necessary to fuck up everyone else's day. Alrighty, it's probably about time that we got back to the quick draw. So, projectile flight speed and not the most impressive critical chance aside, the Boltor Prime is definitely impressive. It even sports an innate V and D slot, which just calls out to me, urging me to overkill the crap out of it. Its mechanics are solid in pretty much every aspect, while its bolts provide entertainment during repetitive missions, and can also ease new players into flight speed weapons with more complicated mechanics, i.e. the Tices, Supra, or even the Bow roster. So for all of those veterans looking for something that harkens back to the beginning of the Warframe era, be sure to pick up the Boltor Prime and let the penetration begin. Thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw, and let me know what weapons you think should be on the next Prime creation list. Also, don't forget to do the thing that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, be sure to stay tuned for more warm, tasty, tea-like content here at AGayGuyPlays. See, there are serpent dogs coming out of this girl's vagina, and you wonder why I'm gay.